Hi, I'm Chef John Maxwell, and I'm here at Meadow Hall at the Meadow Event Park in Doswell, Virginia. And every week we play with some great Virginia food. Today we've got some interesting things. It's a very simple menu, and it's sort of Virginia food. We're going to be playing with some farm-raised salmon, right? And they're raised in what's called a recirculating aquaculture system that was developed by our friends at Virginia Tech. We've got two different kinds of onions here. This is a Spanish onion. It's a white onion. It's typical of one that you would use. You'd find it in the grocery store anytime. Right? This is a sweet onion. Right? They're mostly grown in the South. Right? But Vidalia is the most famous brand of these. But you can see how much flatter it is than a typical onion. And that's a good sign that the onion is sweet. So even if it's not labeled as a sweet onion, if it's flat like this, chances are really good that it is. So we're going to use the sweet onions because the salmon that we're using, right, has got a little bit of fat in it. All salmon do, especially farm-raised. Right? So we're going to try and cut through that fat with a little bit of sweet onion. Onions are highly acidic, so this is going to help cut that fat as well. So we're going to cut one time straight down through the onion, and now cut it into slices across. All right, and I'm going to do the other one as well, straight down through and across. All right, we're going to start some butter in here. And we're going to add these onions to the butter. All right, so we've got that in there. And this is going to cook for a little while. It's got to kind of caramelize, get a little bit brown. Right? So I'm going to add a little bit of sugar to that. Right? To help bring out the sweetness. Right? Add a little bit of pepper. And let that go. That's going to take several minutes to cook. Meanwhile, we're going to start our salmon. Get this heated up. And I've got salmon right here. I'm going to take a little bit of pepper. Get this good and hot. Now, with fish especially, but chicken also, the side of the fish that you want your guest to see first goes down into the plate, into the pan first. So we'll let that sit there and cook for a little bit. Now it's going to brown on one side, then we're going to turn it over, and it's going to take about 2 minutes. So we'll be back when this thing starts to color. All right, so this is starting to brown nicely on that side. We're going to turn it over. Oh yeah, got a nice little crust beginning. Right? We're going to let it sear a little bit on that bottom side, on the skin side, and then we're going to move it into the pie pan and put it in the oven. And the only reason I'm putting it in the oven is because I want it to finish cooking, but I don't want it to get this intense heat from the bottom up. I want the heat from around, and I want its induction heat to bring the heat to the center of the fish. All right, so that goes in there. All right, now let me take this off. I don't want to burn the pan again. All right, so this is going in the oven. And the onions are coming back on. I've got these on there with a little bit of salt, pepper, a little bit of sugar. All of the food that we get here, that we use on this show, comes to us from Relay Foods, whose specialty is organic and natural foods, local sourced products. So helps keep us nutritious. And then the fact that they're in Richmond, that helps. Right. So I'm going to add some sherry wine. Now, the better the sherry that you use in this, the better the resulting sauce is, right? And sherries can get pretty expensive. So I'd stay away from the $70, $75 a bottle sherries. I'd go with the $15 to $18 bottle of sherry. It takes about 3 ounces. right, we're going to let that simmer down. Look, can you guys smell this? It is delightful. Okay. Want to reduce this now for just a little bit. I'm going to take this out of our way and get a plate. Right. And while that is simmering, I'm going to garnish this plate first. Right. And I'm going to start with some greens. Right. These happen to be beet greens, but you can use spinach, you can use collards, you can use pretty much any kind of green you want. Right. And now I've got what's called as a tomato fillet. I cut the edges off, cut the tomato into quarters, then trimmed out all of the insides of it. I know what you're going to say, this looks different from the other one, because it is. I cooked two fish, one earlier and one on camera. This is the earlier one. So I'm going to put this down on the plate, and I'm going to spoon some of these onions over the top. And this is just scrumptious. Sweet onions with sherry on salmon. Join us again next week when we play with some great Virginia foods here in the heart of the home.
Recipes from the heart of the home can be found on the Relay Foods website at relayfoods.com.